God accessible to the heart. Here, however, we must observe that the knowledge of God to which we are called does not consist in empty speculation, but is useful and fruitful once we truly understand it. For God is made known to us in his works, so that when we feel their force within us and receive their benefits, such knowledge should touch us more keenly than if we conceived of God as some airy being of whom we had no real experience. Accordingly, the proper way to seek God and the best way to proceed is to behold him in his works, for through them he becomes close and familiar to us, and indeed imparts something of himself. We must not try, however, in our reckless curiosity, to pry into the greatness of his essence, which is a matter for worship, not for close investigation. The Apostle had this very thing in mind when he stated that we do not need to search very far, since God lives in each of us by his power. The same is true of David, who first affirms God's unspeakable greatness and then records his works, declaring that he will make them known. Let us too be diligent in seeking out God, and may our search so fill our minds with wonder that they are similarly touched with a true feeling for him. This kind of knowledge should not only prompt us to know and serve God, but should also arouse and awaken us to the hope of the future life. For we perceive that the signs which God gives both of his goodness and severity are partial and only half complete. They are samples, as it were, of what will be fully and finally revealed on the appointed day. Moreover, since we see the good and the innocent bowed down with suffering, hurt by insults, wounded by slanders, enduring scorn and shame, and since on the other hand the wicked flourish, prosper, enjoy untroubled ease and esteem, we are led to conclude that there will be another life in which iniquity will be punished and righteousness rewarded. In addition, since we know that the Lord often chastises believers with his rod, we must be quite certain that the wicked will avoid his chastisements much less. We thus maintain that in each of the Lord's works, but chiefly in their totality, his powers are represented as in a painting, through which the entire world is invited to know God, and knowing him, to enjoy supreme happiness. Now, although these powers are very clearly evident, we often fail to understand their ultimate meaning, importance, and purpose, until we descend into ourselves, and consider how God displays in us his life, wisdom, and power, and how he exercises his righteousness, goodness, and mercy toward us.